before the power was revealed.
This record does not begin with power, it begins with restraint. The hidden deeds of King Solomon do not open with dominion, miracles, or command. They begin with selection. For many ruled, few were permitted, and only one was trusted, briefly, with what others were never meant to approach. Solomon was born into covenant, not convenience. The house of David was not merely a royal line, it was a burden passed through blood. Kingship within it was not conquest, but stewardship under constraint. David's reign had proven a dangerous truth, that divine favor does not prevent error, that chosen men still fall, that authority granted can also be withdrawn. The hidden deeds record that Solomon was taught these failures before he learned the songs of victory. He was instructed not in triumph, but in consequence. This mattered, for kings raised on glory seek expansion. Kings raised on caution seek balance. Solomon did not grow as other heirs. He was not shaped for war. He was not groomed for spectacle. He was not hardened by campaigns. He lived close to the throne, but not within its center. The scribes note his presence in places of observation rather than command, listening chambers, record halls, court debates, where words mattered more than blades. They record an early habit. The child watched outcomes, not actors. He studied how decisions echoed, how commands outlived kings, how silence sometimes ruled more effectively than decree. This was not encouraged, nor was it discouraged. It was noted. The hidden deeds are precise here and careful. Solomon's education exceeded royal instruction, but it did not advertise itself. Certain tutors are mentioned only indirectly. Men versed in forgotten scripts, priests who knew which names were never spoken, scholars who taught boundaries as rigorously as knowledge. Solomon learned languages used only in preservation, scripts meant to record, not proclaim, names that altered meaning by being uttered. Most princes learned how to command men. Solomon learned how command itself functions. The scribes mark this as the first divergence. Solomon's learning did not remain confined to Israel. The hidden deeds state that knowledge traveled even when men did not. Fragments from Egypt, oral mathematics from Mesopotamia, cosmological patterns from Arabia. These were not gathered openly. They arrived through scholars, traders, priests in exile, carriers of systems rather than secrets. Solomon was taught to recognize which traditions sought harmony, which sought control, which confused power with wisdom. He learned that every culture had touched the unseen, and that most were damaged by the encounter. Before Solomon was publicly anointed, he was examined privately, not by prophets, not by generals, but by scribes who knew what wisdom costs. He was given contradictions without resolution, commands without moral clarity, laws that conflicted with compassion. Rather than resolve them, Solomon paused. The hidden deeds preserve his response. If obedience harms creation, then obedience itself must be questioned. This unsettled those present, for obedience was the foundation of order. Yet Solomon recognized that order without restraint becomes tyranny. The trial ended there. No verdict was announced, but the decision had already been made. The hidden deeds never answer this directly. They present two possibilities and refuse to resolve them. Either Solomon was divinely selected because of his restraint, or he was shaped deliberately to receive something that could not be given lightly. The scribes note only this: preparation and selection are indistinguishable once permission is granted. What matters is not how the path began, but where it was allowed to lead. At Gibeon, Solomon slept. The hidden deeds do not describe a vision of splendor. They describe an opening, an allowance. Solomon was permitted to ask, and what he requested is often misunderstood. He did not ask for wisdom as ornament. He asked for understanding as responsibility. The scribes caution, understanding is not illumination, it is exposure. What Solomon received was not instruction alone, it was access. In ancient terms, wisdom was not insight, it was alignment. To possess wisdom was to understand how creation responds, to word, to symbol, to authority. Solomon's wisdom allowed him to perceive that names structure obedience, that order precedes law, that command exists beneath speech. This knowledge did not compel him to act, but it made action possible. Kings feared Solomon not because he conquered, they feared him because he did not need to. He resolved disputes without armies, he influenced borders without war. He altered outcomes through judgment alone. Foreign courts sent envoys not to spy, but to measure. The hidden deeds note, they feared that Solomon understood what made kings unnecessary. Near the end of this season, the record grows cautious. Solomon's words began to carry weight beyond rhetoric. Judgments settled unrest instantly. Disputes resolved without appeal. Nothing overt, nothing supernatural, just effectiveness that exceeded explanation. The scribes marked this carefully. This was not command, but it was preparation. Solomon was chosen not because he desired power, but because he understood why power must hesitate. This, the hidden deeds conclude, is why he was trusted, and why what followed would test creation itself.